This is KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit digital resource. We're produced by Charitable Communications. We'll tell the story of Kansas City nonprofits and the people behind them. And we've got some of those people today. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. Our teens in Kansas City, and I think across the country, are really struggling. It's just hard, I think, to be a young person today. But there is a resource in Kansas City that's just amazing. And I'd like to share how I found out about it, but let's introduce our guests first. We have Jessica Wood, who's clinical director. Hi, Jessica.
Hi. And
Jenny Marvine, who's outreach director at Shelterwood Academy, a school here in the Kansas City metro area. I found out about this by sitting at a callback for an audition, and I was chatting with a younger performer than myself as we were trying to kill time. And Kyle is a music teacher there and was telling me about this incredible school that's out there to help meet kids who in a regular environment struggle for whatever reason, and that is Shelterwood. Jessica, fill us in a little bit about Shelterwood, and where is it?
Sure. I'd love to. So Shelterwood we're more than just a school, Ruth. We are a nonprofit, accredited Christian residential treatment center located in Independence, Missouri, just north of Fort Osage High School. And so we work to provide not only school resources, but also residential treatment for kiddos and their families.
How many kids are at the or I guess I should say the center or the academy?
Yeah. So we have about 40 kids, boys and girls right now that we're currently working with at our center.
And do they live on campus or what's the setup?
Yep, they do live on campus. They come from all across the United States, as well as we've had international kids there before too. They live on campus. They go to school on campus, and they receive treatment and therapy services on campus there too.
Now, is a kid there all year? Do you have kids that move in and out of systems? How does your program work from that standpoint?
Sure. So we have, I would say our average length of stay is anywhere between 9 to 12 months. And their length of stay really depends on what their treatment needs are coming in, how they do in our program, and then getting resources set up for them when they return home. And so we do have some kids, like I said, who are there in that average 9 to 12 months. We may have some who might finish up a little sooner than that, and we may have some who stay longer. It really just depends on what their individual needs are, as well as the families, because we work with their families as well while the kids are there.
Now, how did you get connected with this school or this
treatment center?
Treatment center, but a big component is school. I guess that's why I'm so stuck there.
Yeah, and really, school is a really important aspect to our treatment there, but it is just a piece of it, and we focus a lot on the therapy services too, the family services with the kids, and then while they are there, they're also able to receive their education from an accredited school. And so I got connected with them about a little over 3.5 years ago. I had worked at a previous residential treatment center for adolescents and children, but was looking for something closer. I was commuting about an hour.
Oh, my goodness.
And
that's
didn't want to do that
fun.
and had a little baby at the time as well. And so that was getting to be a lot. But I really wanted something that would allow me to continue to work with teenagers and their families, as well as be faith-based. And so I looked online and found Shelterwood, and that they were hiring for a therapist position. And that's how I initially got connected with them.
Now, Jenny, you are outreach director, a little new to that position.
Yes.
But you've been connected with Shelterwood. Tell us a little bit about how you came to this unique place.
Yes, so Shelterwood was founded by a guy named Richard Beach, and he was out in Colorado, and our families had connections out there. I was really looking for a job that I could be kind of a mentor or a coach with some of these teens that were really struggling. And Shelterwood was just that fit. So I spent a year in Colorado as a mentor and really getting to just journey alongside these teenagers that were struggling. So they'd come in for mostly substance use, but some of it was mental illness as well. And so we got to be there and to live there and do life with them while the therapists and the other staff were obviously doing bigger things. And but we got to just really journey alongside them and help them in their day in, day out needs.
And mentoring is a big component of the overall program.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who are the mentors? Are mentors on staff, or tell us how that works? Because some programs, have mentors that are from the community and come in and give time versus the other.
No, our mentors live there on campus with the kids, and so they are there 24/7 doing life with our adolescents, and so they are our staff. They provide direct supervision. They provide coaching. They are a resource when kids are hurting and they're having a hard time emotionally. They're there for support. They're also a huge part of the treatment team. We have a group of licensed therapists. We have substance abuse counselors, the teachers and the mentors. It's all part of the team, and everyone plays a huge, important role in that child's treatment.
So mentors apply for the job, and then this is a job. Mm-hmm. Is there something that you look for when you're hiring a mentor? Do they have to have professional credentials, per se, as a clinician would need to have?
Mm-hmm.
I would say a lot of our mentors are graduating college, so they're kind of in between looking for a job. It's similar to like a gap year, I would say, but it's really an opportunity to grow and to learn and to kind of get an idea if this is something that they want to continue in, whether they want to, head on that track to eventually get their master's in counseling or an education or something. It really gives them kind of hands-on experience into what it would be like.
Yeah, and I would say a lot of them, if not most of them, have a degree in some sort of a helping profession, whether it's counseling or psychology or ministry, something to that degree that really they're passionate about working with families and with kids and being an important part in their life.
You were a mentor. Jenny, what stands out? Is there any? I know because of HIPAA, we're not going to reveal who any student is, of course. But is there something that stands out, or how did it impact you, mentoring a young person who was having to deal with some tough issues?
Yeah, and there are a lot of tough issues that these kids deal with. It taught me empathy. That's one thing that I really learned, how to be empathetic towards these kids that were struggling. And I think personally, it led me to really think about some of the things that I had walked through as a teenager. And, just hearing their stories, your heart is, I don't know, my heart just broke for some of the things that these kiddos are really going through. And I just really loved being there and being a listening ear. And honestly, they taught me, I think, so much more than I could have ever, invested in them. It was a year that I'll never forget, just being a part of their lives in that way. And I still stay in contact with a couple of them from 16 years ago. And they're...
Wow, that's amazing. That's got to bring a smile to your face to know that they're moving forward, at least in their life journey.
Absolutely. And doing well.
Jessica, how do kids get to the academy? Do you apply? Are they referred? What's the process?
Yeah, sure. So it's both. We have families who often will, maybe be working with an ed consultant or someone in their community who may refer them to us, and then they apply, or they may be seeking something online and not knowing what is out there and looking for help with their teen. And so oftentimes they will find us online, referrals by word of mouth, former families who have connections with other people that are struggling and provide some suggestions as to where to go. And then they'll apply. They can look up our website at shelterwood.org. And there will be, you can navigate that, and there's a place where you can click to learn more information, or if you want to go and start the application process, there's a spot on our website as well to do that.
So kids come to you, you work with them, it sounds like in a kind of a holistic approach, everything that you're dealing with. As the parent, what should be the expectations? Are there expectations?
Yeah. The expectation, I think, is to trust this process. There will be ups and downs in treatment as we address difficult things. Our organization, we don't want to just tackle the outward behaviors that we're seeing with kids, but we want to dive deeper in what's fueling those behaviors. Look at what's underneath, and that I think that's what is unique about our facility is that we aren't just a behavior modification. We're more of a trauma informed, and trauma looks so different in people's lives, whether it's having to change schools that you've been to or been at for a long period of time or going through a traumatic experience. But we want to get to what's underneath to really elicit that heart change.
Trauma-informed care. Tell us what that is, just so that we re-educate our listeners.
Sure. Just basic understanding. Trauma-informed care is really, like I said, looking at what's underneath from a trauma standpoint. If people have gone through things, recognizing that everything impacts us, and we want to seek to understand how trauma has impacted us, and we want to care for our kids in a way that meets basic needs, provides safety, in order for them to address some of the challenges that they've been through, and work on resolving some of those things, with the goal then of also changing some behaviors, changing relationships. It really is a relational model.
And what age are we talking about? Do you go all the way down to the elementary grades and through high school, or?
Yeah, our programs works with kids that are in between ages 13 to 18. And so it wouldn't be elementary, but that adolescent time, as well as their families.
Which seems to be that really tough time.
It is tough, yeah.
Crazy. What are these kiddos dealing with? Enlighten us of the students that are there, of course not revealing who they are, but what are the issues that you're day-to-day, boots on the ground, having to work with these kids? Yeah,
so, society is so much different from when I was a teen. And the challenges they face, be it with social media things. We see kiddos coming in with difficulties and addictions to social media, substance abuse, and even experimentation, depression, anxiety, other mental health challenges, emotion regulation challenges, some developmental delays and developmental challenges as well. And so we work with a wide variety of issues that kids are coming in with.
So do you have some hard and fast rules when kids are there? You mentioned social media, so I'm thinking is the cell phone that's glued to our hands all the time.
No, there are no phones. They have very limited access online. There may be some online classes that they take through the school, but that is not the primary focus of the program. Our focus is really to get them to remove the technology piece of it so that we can get to some other things and really develop new habits, even help them to learn about themselves. Some come in with really not knowing who they are, and really seeking to help them find that. And so our program, we do a lot of activities out in the community even, as well as on campus. We have a 200-acre campus too. A lot of our guys will like to go hiking in the woods, and so we let them do that. We've got a pool on campus, a basketball court, volleyball court. So we promote a lot of those different types of activities to get them re-engaged in life.
You are a nonprofit, and particularly the services that you offer, counseling and the therapy that goes with it, and education and all of that. How do you fund that? How do you?
Yeah,
it's not a cheap venture.
No, it's not. So we recently went through Joint Commission Accreditation, and so we are Joint Commission accredited.
Which means what?
Which means that insurances really recognize the work that we do, and it opens the door for some additional insurance funding that parents can seek out to help afford the cost of this type of a program.
What does it cost? Can you say?
I don't know. Can we say?
It's thousands of dollars.
It's thousands of dollars.
I would assume. I mean, it's not any different than a quote-unquote private school, and we know those.
Right. Treatment is expensive, unfortunately.
But
so needed, and we want to help families. Yeah.
So do you all have events that you do in the community, fundraisers, anything like that? Some
Some.
from time to time.
Yeah, so we seek out, we do a lot of networking, or our goal is to do networking, and to attend different conferences where we can meet people and build connections and establish some, donor funds even that can help support the ministry and provide help to families in need.
And how does the Christian component of it play into what you do?
Yeah. So that really, our faith is really what drives our values. And we operate out of those Christian values. It's not something that is forced on the kids in terms of the religion piece of it. We do have chapel that kids will attend on Fridays.
Okay.
And we do take kids out to churches in the community on Sundays. But again, we seek to help them develop a relationship, and we meet them where they're at. It's not something that we force on them, because that we don't value forced relationship. We value true, genuine relationship. And a lot of it just, comes out, our faith comes out in the way that we love the kids, and the way that we care for them.
Well, you're doing amazing work. I love the component of a mentor along with teachers and therapists, etc. It's Shelterwood Academy. It's here in Kansas City, shelterwood.org. And Jessica and Jenny, you have been great. Thank you so much for sharing the story of Shelterwood Academy.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.